Obviously, getting that call yesterday from his dad really, you know, very tough to get. But, the one thing his dad was most proud about is he knew his son would be in heaven. And the leader that he was and the young man he was, me and Dom shared some things that made us close. His family's from Pittsburgh, from the same neighborhood as me. So, that made us bond together really close in these last 2 months that I've been here with him. But just really blessed to get the opportunity to be around that young man for the time that we had together. I know that he would want us to, be tough and move forward and work hard. That's what he was about. So that's what we're going to do.
No, thank you so much, Pat Graham, Associated Press. Speaking of Dom, what's it say about your team that you guys had that emergency meeting last night and everybody wanted to practice in his honor? And what was it like just practicing with this heaviness over you guys?
Yeah, Dom, when we first started winter workouts, he gave a speech to the team about get out of your feelings and work as hard as you can every day. And I think that's why the guys chose to go out there and practice today, because that was Dom's mindset, to show up every day and work as hard as he could. Obviously, his football story was going all over the place. He's been to multiple universities, working his way here. He loved Boulder, so that's what the guys wanted to do today and honor him. Obviously, I was proud of the guys just today for their toughness to show up, to wake up in the morning, to show up, to persevere. That's what it'll take for them to be great providers as husbands one day, as dads. Regardless of what's happening, you have to show up, and they did that today. For that, I tip my hat to them for doing that.
Hi, Coach. Adam Munster, TigerBuffStampede.com. Kind of building off your opening statement there. Tragically, you weren't able to coach Dom longer than a couple months, but in that short period of time that you got to know him, what stood out to you about him?
Just his work ethic, right? Like he flashcarded my whole entire playbook that we gave him. I mean, he flashcarded every play. His humility to, he picked up one of our freshman quarterbacks, Keneal. He picked him up every day and brought him to practice. Just the little things. Every person that he touched, he made an impact on, in this program, whether it was offense or defense, a kicker, a walk-on, right? Like a coach, like everybody. Dom kind of touched everybody and had an impact on everybody. They saw how hard he worked, how hard he wanted it, to prove that he could play at the collegiate level and be a college quarterback. So, it's good just to see guys that want it like that. In an era where you have to force people to work hard, you had to tell Dom to stop working so hard. So, just being around a kid like that, his energy was contagious as far as his work ethic.
Hey, Coach. I'm Jack Carlo, 24/7 Sports. Nice to meet you. Just curious, you touched on this a little bit, but just how have the quarterbacks and some of the other offensive players, I don't know if I want to say rallied around, but have kind of just responded to this tragedy?
Yeah, it's hard to say that right now. I think people are still in the grieving phase. I mean, it hasn't been 24 hours since we got the news. So, like today, I was just like proud of the guys for going out there, with tears in their eyes, with, taking a deep breath. I was just proud of the guys for actually going out there, practicing today, and toughing it out. I mean, I don't know if we've rallied yet or done any of that, because it hasn't been 24 hours.
I was reading that there's some counseling services that are available for some of the staff and the students. How do you tell 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds to make sure they check in with themselves and that they handle that on their own? Are those hard conversations to have with people who maybe don't have the life experience yet to really, in some cases, understand what the full capacity of that means?
Yeah, I mean, our program, Coach Prime has done a really good job of the support within the staff. Our staff members actually care about the players. They know their names. They know, like they know where their families are from. Most of these guys have shared their testimony and stories and their whys to the coaches. So a lot of these guys will lean on their coach and, will be able to lean on them. The coach will actually go pick them up at his house or go talk to him, go take them out to eat, spend time with them. That's something in our staff that I love the most about. We actually put our arms around collectively and care about the student athletes. It's not just what they do on the football field. So these guys will have all the love and support they need to, overcome the situation that transpired the other day with Dom. And then, obviously we've done a good job from an administration standpoint upstairs of having all the different rooms for these guys to go to and have those conversations away from the coach if they need more help. That, we're not doctors, we're coaches, dads, right? So, if they need more than what we can give them, they're able to go get that.
Hey, Coach. You were talking about how the coaching staff has really been there for the team in the last 24 hours. How hard has it been for the coaching staff having to be there while also still processing this and grieving?
Yeah, I mean, this morning we met together and we just everybody kind of just let their feelings be out. I mean, we've been very vulnerable with each other as a coaching staff, especially from the offensive staff perspective. We shared our testimonies, why we love football. It's something that I've done since I got into coaching. It's something that changed my life when I first got into coaching. The first coaching job that I had, every coach had to share their real testimony and story, and then the players did as well. And I've carried that throughout every stop that I've been at. And, so we've been very vulnerable with each other, tears, talk about our family, talk about our kids, talk about the things that we struggle with, and try to, fill in each other's cups and help each other get to where we want to go. So as a staff, as the leaders of the guys, we got to be able to stand up in front of them with a smile on our face and lead them forward. And I think we did that this morning to be able to get the guys to get out there and go practice.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. Again, you just alluded to the guys toughing it out this morning for practice, but as you probably know, anyone that's lost someone, it's going to ache tomorrow, the next day, the day after that. Just any thoughts yet on how you're going to maybe manage those emotions throughout spring practice, and especially in that quarterback room?
Yeah, I mean, everybody grieves differently. I remember I just got the call from Dom's dad yesterday. I was playing with my son, and I just stopped, like I couldn't move. And my son's like, "Dad," and I'm like, I was speechless talking to Dom's dad. So, I mean, I don't know how everybody will grieve. I can't really answer that. I mean, I know that, I've been through a lot of things, and I know the coaches have been through a lot of things as well, and these players have as well. That we have the type of group that adversity won't break us; it'll help us break records. So, I know that we'll find a way to get through it and honor Dom in the way that we work every day.
You were only with him for a few short months, but what's going to be the thing that you take with you moving forward that you remember most about Dom?
Yeah, this morning it was just hard to go in the quarterback room thinking like, damn, Dom won't be in there. You see somebody every day, every morning. We meet every day at 5:30, 5 o'clock, so we'll just save a spot for him in the room.
Yeah, you mentioned the testimonies of what football, means to the coaching staff. How do you think Dominique embodied the sport of football in his life?
I think the reason why Coach Prime chose him as a leader is because he embodied everything that the program is about. For a kid that he didn't really have to do football. He comes from an affluent background. He worked all the way through, Bethune-Cookman, Georgia Tech, going to prep school out of high school. I mean, he's done a lot of things to get to this point. So that's something that everybody could look at and go, like, this dude really loves football, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for guys who actually love the game, not everything that the game will give them, just the day-to-day process of what it takes to be a great football player. He brought that every day. So I hope that's what the guys will take from him, is a guy who truly loved the game.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. A couple questions for you, but have you ever had a situation like this in your coaching career where an active player has passed away?
Yeah, I've had it as a player on a team. I've had it as a coach as well at UNLV. Ryan passed away early in the winter workout session. Charlie, actually, who's on our team, ironically, Charlie Williams, our tight end, was the one who found him in his room. They were roommates. He found him in his room before a workout. He didn't get up, and that kid never missed anything. And so we dealt with that when I first got to UNLV. This is probably like my second week on the job. I really didn't know Ryan from that standpoint, shook his hand once, but that happened there. And then obviously we rallied around him and, obviously went on to having success there at UNLV. At William and Mary, same thing. Early in the program, a kid that I just had met, bad situation happened to him. He had passed, and our team rallied around that, and guys carried his legacy on. I remember taking the bus to his funeral with his mom and all that stuff. So I've been in this situation before. It doesn't make it easier, but, obviously been in the situation before, never been with a player that's been actually, in my position room before, though.
And then just follow up with practice today. As coaches, do you grade it very differently and just say this was just about getting on the field and dealing with some emotions there rather than, because I know you guys will grade practice and the performance, things like that. Do you view it differently and just, like you said, praise the guys for just getting out there and just call it that?
Yeah, we coached differently today. I mean, we didn't coach with the same, urgency as far as screaming at guys and losing our mind. And, we coached with a, like you would coach your child today. We coached a little bit more, pull back from the standpoint, let's get through the reps, but let's do it quality. Let's run on and off the field, and let's get our guys out there and just get them, let them have a little bit of fun to be out there on the field. So today, the film won't be, it's definitely not the quality of work that we're capable of, but like I said, to go out there on a day when you found out, some kids didn't find out until the meeting last night, right, till 5 o'clock. So you think about that. You got to get back up at 5:30 in the morning. That's 12 hours, right? So for them to go out there was amazing today.
Sorry, a two-part question. Just real quick, did you guys do anything to honor him today? Did you hang his jersey or?
We're going through some things that we want to make sure we do something quality for him. So the guys captains were getting together with Coach, and they're planning on doing something, very special for Dom. We don't want to do something that's not impactful for him because he meant that much to us as a brother, as a teammate. And I think his parents get in town tonight or tomorrow. So make sure we respect them as well, what they want to do for their son.
And then, sorry, real quick, can the football field be a healing place for you guys? Can it be your sanctuary?
Absolutely. When everybody got up here and told their stories about why they love this game of football, it was their safe place. It was the place where they could get away from the things that were going on at home, the tragedies that everybody has faced. We've had a lot of things going on. We had Bo just lose his aunt in a car accident. A few days ago, he was just at a funeral, Bo Hewley. Right? We got a lot of guys that are going through a lot of things right now on top of this. And football, today, if you went out there on the football field, you saw Bo running up and down the field smiling. So this is a place for them to, a sanctuary for them to go when things are not, peachy at home. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Ben.
How we
Jack
doing?
Harlow. Good, how are you?
Good.
Obviously, with Dom's passing, just as a leader on the team, how are you approaching the situation, and just what can you do to kind of help heal this locker room?
Yeah, it sucks. It's obviously you lose a brother, and to some of us like myself, it's more than a brother. The biggest thing that I wanted us to get away from this is it can either mold us or it can tear us apart, and it ain't gonna tear us apart because of the team we are and the culture that we're building. So, it sucks. Yesterday, you're gonna go to sleep and you wake up and Dom's not gonna be there, but football is gonna be there. So our mentality was we got to get back to work and we got to honor Dom in the way that we work, and we're gonna do it for him. And so, it sucks, and I'll be praying for his family and for all of his loved ones. And I got the pleasure of spending a week with his fam last year during spring break when I went down and visited them. But, be praying for all of them throughout this time. So.
Hey, could you take us through, I know it's very raw, but as best you can, your emotions over the last 24 hours?
Yeah. I found out yesterday after I got back from church, so it put me in a better mood. And I was with a bunch of teammates. My roommate is his best friend, so he came out and told me, and that was tough to see the look on his face. And then talked to his roommates right after that, and called Coach Prime to confirm it. And it sucked. You can't brace for something like that. I've never really had somebody pass away that I'm this close with before, so it was tough. But I got my teammates, and I got the Lord with me, and that's all I need. I got my family, who's was the first ones to call me, and it sucks. It really does. But everything that we're gonna do moving forward is for Him. So it's hard to see God's plan sometimes, but everything happens for a reason. So.
You had another year of eligibility. You came back. How important is this moment for you to be one of the leaders of a team that has a lot of new faces again?
Yeah. My biggest focus this offseason, especially obviously with my injury currently and not being able to practice, has been able to, building the brotherhood. Because, I failed at that last year, and I didn't do a good enough job, and I didn't make it a priority. And especially nowadays with the transfer portal in college football, you got to come together. You got to have a why, and you got to, at the end of the day, it's just a call sheet for these coordinators. The players are what make it come alive, and you got to have a why for your brothers and for doing it for each other. And so that's been my biggest focus. Obviously we brought in a lot of new guys, and I want all of them to understand that I love them personally and I do anything for them. So that's the biggest thing is showing each other rather than just talking about it. You got to be for each other and show that you're there for each other. And so that's the biggest thing for me right now. So yes, sir, appreciate it.
Hey, Ben. Harrison Simeon, Buffs and SI. Yesterday there was a team meeting, an emergency team meeting to decide what to do. Can you just talk us through what emotions you observed and how the team was able to come to a decision to practice today?
Yeah, we, it was tough meeting together, everybody, and knowing what happened. Coach Prime asked us if we wanted to work tomorrow. Yesterday he asked that, and we decided as a team Dom wouldn't have missed a day. He wouldn't have missed a day of workouts, and that's what he would have wanted for us. He would have said life's got to move on. We got championships to win, and we still have goals, and the clocks are still rolling. The world's still going to spin. Don't stop just because I'm done. So obviously there's a lot of emotions yesterday, and a lot of guys breaking down and tearing up, but we got to keep working. That was the biggest thing. We got to be there for each other. Got to keep working. We still got a goal, still got a mission, and this is just another why. For some of the guys that maybe think that their why isn't as significant, stuff like that. That's your why now. And we're going to be honoring Dom with everything that we do from now on. And so it was a day of emotions yesterday, but we came together. And we'll continue to come together.
Hi, Ben. You talked about Dom's work ethic. What can you tell us about his personality?
Yeah, he lit up any room that he walked into. He was always smiling. I used to call him Fruity Light Skin. But yeah, man, I love Dom. He lit up every room that he walked into. And, he brought the best in the people around him. And so he's going to be missed.
Hey, Ben, Lee Rivera, BuffStampede.com. First of all, my condolences to you and your team. You've spoken about your faith, and obviously you have a coaching staff that's been very faith-oriented as well throughout this time. Did they give you a message at all or something that stuck with you?
Yeah, God has a plan with everything. As a team yesterday, we read a Bible verse about everything happening for a reason. There's a time to cry. There's a time to be happy. There's a time to dance. There's a time to sing. And, right now there's whatever time you feel the need for, feel it. But understand there's still work to be done, and that's the kind of mentality that we have to have moving forward. So, yes, sir.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. Ben, you mentioned you were even closer than brothers and had vacationed with Dom's family. If you don't mind sharing, why did you two click so well? Why were you two so close? Why did you guys kind of become such tight friends?
Taggart Barden, really. So I went to high school with Taggart. He went to high school with me. Shoot, I'm older than him. He's like a little brother to me. But him and Dom were, you know, like this, and they're roommates. And so because of tag, you know, I was around Dom quite a bit. And I also used to be roommates with Ryan Staub, and so he was around the house, you know, both them being quarterbacks. And also him being a walk-on, you know. All of us walk-ons, we would hang out together. You know, we were a band of brothers. So, you know, that's how we became close. And then, you know, from there we just, I don't know, like we've just bonded. You know, we got the same personality type. We're super outgoing, love talking to people. And so, yeah, that's, you know, we were close. But, yeah.
Hey, Ben. So, you know, speaking about Dominique, is there any specific memory that comes to mind that really shows the type of person he was for you?
That's a good question. We, how do I phrase this? We, a couple weeks ago, we were hanging out at my apartment complex, and we got a hot tub there. And one of my roommates had the key to the clubhouse, so I couldn't get in. And obviously my knee was a little stuck, so he hopped over this was before I had surgery. So he hopped over the fence because we didn't have the key scanner. Hopefully my apartment complex isn't listening to this, otherwise I might get kicked out. But he hopped over the fence and opened the door for me, and then had to do the same thing at the next fence. And these are tall fences, like they're probably 10-foot fences. So it was, and you know, he's a quarterback, he's athletic, but you know, got to rub up on the quarterbacks a little bit. Not the most athletic guys on the team, but yeah. So he did it without hesitation, and it just kind of goes to show the kind of guy he is. You know, just a servant, and was always there for teammates, whatever we needed. And so, you know, he was always just serving his teammates, and that's just the kind of person he was. And so, he's a great guy. So, yeah, that highlights who he is.
Hey, Ben, I just want to ask you, you know, we didn't get a chance to, you know, see Dom play a lot, you know, but maybe some highlights on well-off. But can you talk about him as a player? Like, you know, what stood out to you about him as a player? I mean, it looked like he had a strong arm, athletic, but, like, you know, what really stood out to you when you were going against him on the field?
Baker Mayfield is how I'd compare him. Just a competitive, gritty dude. Like, he'll stick his shoulder down and run you over. And that's, you know, as a quarterback, like, that rallies a team. You know, when you got a quarterback that's willing to do that. And, I mean, you guys saw it in that scrimmage that we held last year during our bye weekend. And that's just the kind of guy he was. Like, he was just a gritty, competitive dude. And so, like, he was a talented guy, and his highs were high. He was a great player. But you know what stood out to me was just his competitiveness and his passion. Like, when you got a passion like that, it's so easy to get behind a guy like that and want to roll with him. So that's what I remember about Dom's play and how he was on the field. So, yeah.
Hey, Ben, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. You mentioned trying to get all of these new guys kind of bought in and bought into a kind of a brotherhood over the last couple of weeks and months here since, you know, 40 new players have come into the program. How much of a galvanizing effort can this be for you guys as a group over the next 3-4 weeks as you're on the field together every day? Obviously, you've been going through off-season workouts, but just kind of getting back to the practice field, all that kind of stuff. As like you said, you're trying to create that brotherhood that maybe was lacking last year.
Yeah, you know, obviously – the biggest thing for me was setting the standard and the culture for who we want to be, and then making sure that, you know, we came together as a leadership group of all the guys that were here last year and knew that we needed to step up and make a lot of changes, and that the things that happened last year wouldn't fly again. And so that's the good thing about the guys that we had from last year and the guys that we retained was the mentality difference of who we want to be. And the difference is the amount of people that we have wanting to do right and head in that direction. As we won't let, you know, there's always a few stragglers and guys that you know, it's football, stuff happens, and we got guys that are going to bring them along in the right way, rather than letting people stray off and head their own path. Because as a team, we got to have one vision and one goal, and that's the thing is we're all getting bought into the one vision and one goal. And so, like, yeah, the biggest thing that we were all focused on, especially this off season and the spring, is building the team. You know, because you need the team, and at the end of the day, like, the call sheet doesn't matter. What matters is the people that you have playing to your right and left and the people that are on the field. And that's who you play for. And so just understanding that, like, that's who it's going to be about. Is like, it's not about me. it's not about you, it's about all of us. And so that's got to be our mentality moving forward, and everyone's buying into that. So that's the biggest thing that we're focused on throughout these next few months of football.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
How y'all doing?
Obviously, very challenging last 24 hours. Everybody grieves their own way. Everybody has their own perspective. How have you been handling things?
Absolutely. I've been handling great, man. It's definitely been tough, but Coach Palm done a great job of getting everybody together. Like even last night, we had a team meeting at 5 to kind of get everybody together, get thoughts, just praying together, just staying together as a group and not letting like outside sources kind of break us up. So it's definitely been challenging as a group, but we're in it together, so it's been great.
Did you feel like there was a collective, I don't know, sigh of relief from everybody to get out there today to work?
Absolutely. I felt like we kind of needed that, kind of not really want to say distraction, but kind of like just getting out there first day of spring ball, kind of just getting our feet on the grass and just kind of being together, and everybody's going through the same thing, and some people grieve harder than others, so it's kind of just a good way to get everybody together and kind of get our minds off of things.
Yeah, on the meeting and practice today, I know you guys were given the option of whether or not to have it. Why was it so important for you guys to get out there today?
Absolutely, it was important just because Dom will definitely want us to practice. He was a great guy. He was kind of that light in the room and wanted everybody to kind of be great and together. So I think it was great just to get out there and kind of get our feet wet for the first day.
Hey, Archer, thanks for taking the time today.
Yes,
Pat
sir, I
Graham,
appreciate
Associated
you.
Press. I guess we know Dom just a little bit, just from you guys. Can you explain what kind of player was he? Do you have any good stories that illustrate who he was as a person?
Absolutely, man. Dom was a great guy, man. Dom was somebody that kind of kept the locker room together. He was, even though like he wasn't playing on the field, he was still that joy for everybody around the locker room. He was always smiling, always laughing, always goofy, playing around. So he would definitely want us to be here today practicing and having a smile on our face. He wouldn't want anybody to be down because Dom was never down.
What's going to be something about Dom that sticks with you as you move forward this season, the rest of your life?
I would just say his infectious smile. He always had a smile on his face. He always was joking, playing around, and that's just kind of what we got to do this season, kind of just playing for Dom, and just not taking anything that we go through this year for granted, because you never know when it's your last time you can step on the field and put those cleats on.
There's been a lot of talk about football being like a release at this point in time. How do you feel about that as a thought? And, what are kind of your thoughts been trying to move, back onto the football field?
Absolutely. We all been playing this game since we was kids, something that we love, enjoy to do. And, it's great to kind of get back on the field, first day of spring ball, just kind of getting everybody together, kind of seeing who all can do what. And got a room full of new guys, room full of new coaches, so it's good for everybody to gel together and just be on one accord.
RJ, do you have a different level of appreciation for a guy like Dom who, like you said, he wasn't playing, but he might have been able to go to a smaller school and see a lot of time and be the man there, but instead he's part of the brotherhood and wants to help you guys get better every day. What kind of appreciation do you have for guys like that?
Absolutely, I have a lot of appreciation, because especially with the transfer portal now, like we've seen, I've been here for 3 years now, so I've seen a lot of guys come in, guys go. So it's just a different level of appreciation that I came in with Dom. We came in that summer together, so it's just great seeing like him stay around, because many guys don't really stay around, especially if you're quarterbacking. Every year it's kind of somebody else that's kind of projected to be the guy, and you just stay around and keep great smiles, great uplifting everybody. So it's just great, especially in this day and era. Absolutely, man. That was great. Even with our first team meeting, he had spoke up for the quarterbacks because he's just been here. He's been that leader. He kind of learned from Shadur and Trav and a lot of those guys from the offense from that first year. So he kind of knew how everything was ran, knew how Coach Pond wanted it. So it was just great being able to see him step up into that role and be able to help the guys and help the new people.
Over the last 24 hours, you know, with everything, how has the coaching staff been there for everyone on the team?
Absolutely, man. They was just like I said last night. They mandatory team meeting just to make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's together. Coach Prime had many pastors come to us, preach to us, just give us a word. Even with this counseling, it's counseling all around through the building. So just helping everybody stay together. And if you need somebody to talk to, it's multiple people, everybody around just to talk to and be able to guide you through this process.
RJ, and similar to that question, are there any players in the locker room that have kind of been able to maybe keep the spirits high, keep the spirits up, and keep everybody together?
Absolutely. It's been a lot of guys just because, you know, we've been here, especially guys that have been here. We've been here for 3 years now with Dom, so it's kind of like everybody that's just been here staying together. And even the new guys that knew Dom and loved Dom in that quarterback room, they kind of all stand together, just making sure everybody's uplifted, making sure nobody's down, just so we can get through this spring and pay it forward to Dom during the fall.
Anything powerful or motivating shared at practice today that made you think of him?
Absolutely. Just this meeting this morning, Coach Palm talking to everybody, just making sure everybody was on the same page. Because Coach Palm gave us the option whether or not we wanted to practice or take the day off. So that was great for him as a leader, just to be able to take time and to see what we're going through. But we all said that we wanted to practice and pay it forward to Dom. So it was really cool to do that.
All right, thanks, RJ.
Appreciate y'all.
How we doing? Oh, sir.
I'm Jack Harlow with 24/7 Sports. My condolences with the loss today, but just what have the past 24 hours been like for you? And just as a leader on this team, just how are you kind of approaching this tough situation?
Well, I would say it definitely changed me. It's really like we all got another Y to play for. And for the O-line especially, you know, it's a quarterback, so it's kind of sad not being able to protect him off the field, but it's going to make me do everything to protect my quarterbacks I have left on the field. So that's really what's going on. I still don't really realize it, like I just don't want to believe it yet, so it didn't really hit me that hard yet.
Oh, yeah. As an offensive lineman, how much time did you spend around Dom, and what memories can you share that you remember?
Well, it was when I came in my freshman year, he was already here, so I think I know him the longest from the O-line. But it was like he was a good dude to have in the locker room. Like, I didn't really have stuff off the field going on with him, but like every day in the locker room, just a funny guy. We never had like serious conversations because it was just all fun, and you was just happy around him.
Dom was one of the guys that got up in front of the team at the start of the semester. It seemed like he was really a big leader in this program.
Yeah, man, I'm getting goosebumps because I remember what he said that day. And it's just, every time I'm on the field, I'm just going to remember what he said. So I'm going to play like a man, just like how he wanted.
Hey, thanks for taking the time, Pat Graham, Associated Press.
Appreciate you.
Two-parter here. Number one is, what to say about Dom and you guys that in the emergency meeting last night, everyone wanted to play. Everybody wanted to practice today in memory of Dom.
What's the question?
What's it say about you guys and Dom that everybody wanted to play today for him?
Yeah, it's like we just did it because that's probably what he would us want to do. He want us to walk, and I feel like it was good to work out today, just like to have some distraction, to think about football a little, because I don't know about others, but if I would have been at home today, I would have thought about it a lot. It's not like that I didn't think about it on the field, because every rep I did was just like because of him and me and everybody in the room. But it's like, I feel like working was the right decision.
What's maybe one story that illustrates him as a person? You guys knew him better than we did. What's a story that maybe illustrates how he was as a person?
Man, just every locker room story. Like, whatever happens in the locker room stays there, but it's just like fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you were mentioning how much practice today helped, you know, with dealing with this. How do you see football in moments like this as, you know, like a sanctuary?
That's why I love the sport. It just, for me personally, it keeps me away from home. I live like 14 hours away from here by plane, so every time I'm home, I'm going through stuff. So being on the field, walking every day, even on off days, I just come to walk so I can forget what's going on. And in moments like this, that's when we really come closer together, rely on each other, and let football make what it does.
Leo Rivera, buffstampede.com. First of all, my condolences to you and your teammates.
Thank you.
But you've had the relationship with Coach Prime that's been pretty strong. What has his kind of been message like to you guys, and what have you taken away from him throughout this time?
It's like, it's not that we didn't know, but he just made sure that we know he loves every single one of us. And no matter like how you stand to him, like I'm very close to him, but he loves everybody else too. And we're making sure that we're not losing anybody else, especially not because of like, we just ain't gonna lose anybody else. Take care of each other, come closer together. That's what we're here for. We're a team, so we gotta play like a team and act like a team. So that's really what he's doing. He's just bringing us together even more.
Anything else for
You mentioned, obviously this is a very new look room for you in the offensive line. You're quickly become one of the veteran guys in there. Is this something that can then quickly bring you guys together and form a brotherhood that maybe guys on the team have said that was missing a little bit last year, some of that connection between not just the individual groups, but the team as a whole?
It's already starting. It's like since day one, we just, we have player-led walkthroughs every week on the weekend, off days, and after that we go grab breakfast together, go grab lunch together. Since like a week, I couldn't join the guys because I'm fasting right now, so I can't drink and eat. But I just still try to be around the guys, and also for what happened, because I'm fasting, I'm closer to my God, and I'm praying for everybody on the team and for myself to just stay healthy and look up on us.
Anything else for you? All right, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Hey, how's it going? Obviously, last night at the team meeting, the coaches gave the team the ability to either do or do not do practice. Why was it so important for the team to all show up today?
I felt it was pretty important for the whole team to show up because it just exemplifies the type of guy that Dom was. He always came to work, always had a smile on his face, always wanted to get extra work. So honestly, that was the only thing we could do really to give him love and show him like, hey, we're here for you. This is what we're gonna do.
APT, I'm Jack Harlow, 24/7 Sports.
What's up?
Yeah, again, my condolences with the loss today. But what was practice like today? Just the emotions.
Honestly, practice today was a little heavy at first, but once Coach Marion got the guys going and we all bought in, we had no other choice but to go hard for him. I felt like it was a high effort practice today. Everybody was at least running around doing their best effort, and if they did mess up, we messed up full speed, and that was the only way we could do it.
You mentioned that it was heavy until Coach Marion really got things going. Could you kind of speak about what he did necessarily to get everyone kind of back into the game?
Oh, I mean, he had came in from the jump, and he was like, hey, guys, like, I'm going to need a little energy from y'all, because it was pretty hard for him as it was for all of us. So to get us started, we kind of got in a little huddle, and he was like, we started this little chant. We're like, yeah, got us all nice and excited for practice, and then we broke it out on Dom, and that set the tone for the rest of practice.
How did you find out about the news, and how have you been processing it in the 24 hours or so since?
I found out about the news like right after church with a group of friends with Ben. It hit me kind of hard because I was just with him the Friday, not Saturday. I was with him Friday, and it almost didn't feel real to a degree because it was like, dang, I was just laughing with you. You had just told me about the tattoo he had got. We were talking about the other tattoos he was thinking about getting, and then to get that news Sunday after church, it was like, I feel like I got hit by a train almost.
thank you again for taking the time to talk about him. Just kind of two things. Number one is you said that you broke down the huddle and you guys said Dom. What were the emotions like when you said his name? Did it hit you hard then, or was it like almost uplifting?
It was almost like a boost of energy, like he was there with us. That's what it felt like when we broke it out on Dom.
And then you guys knew him very well. We're trying to get to know him. Do you have any good Dom stories that illustrate his personality?
The best one I can give you was actually from Friday. So we had to get together some of the guys just to do some team bonding and hang around each other. And Dom comes in. He's like, "Yo, DT, guess what I got?" I'm like, "What you got, man?" He's like, "Got this brand new tattoo. Guess who I went to?" He's like, I was like, "Man, who'd you go to?" Because I was like, "I don't know that many tattoo guys out here." He's like, "I went to your guy." He's like, "Guess what?" He's like, "I'm going to have my whole arm finished before you finish yours." And I'm like, "Nah, that's not going to play." He's like, watch. I'm going to be done by tomorrow. I'm like, okay, we'll see, Dom. But, yeah.
What's up, Kalen?
What's up?
Sorry for your loss, my boy. You mentioned and Ben mentioned too that like a group of y'all like go to church together. Is that kind of a new thing, or just kind of how cool is that you guys are getting together and bonding in that way?
It is something particularly new for this year. We're trying to build from the inside out, encourage guys to come to church. It's not a forceful thing. It's open doors. If you're willing to come, you can come. We're also trying to get a small little Bible study going, meeting with FCA, things like that, and just incorporating the whole team and building from a strong base, putting God at the center of everything that we do so that we can honor him through our play and through how we act outside of the field. As of right now, we got about 7 guys. Of course.
Looking at the Denver Gazette, it seems like Dom had really became a leader, especially in the quarterback room and on the offense as a whole, earlier this offseason, just kind of wanting to step up as a veteran. Is this something that, obviously you don't want anything like this to happen, but you encourage other guys on the offense to kind of step up and fill the void that he's kind of leaving behind as a leader for this group?
Honestly, I don't think anybody could fill Dom's shoes just because of the guy that he was. But there's also, I feel like everybody in that quarterback room plays their role very well. Everyone has their attribute that they bring that helps make the team special. So Dom will forever have a place there. And outside of that, the other guys bring what they have to bring in order to keep the team going.
Going back to practice, and you and other players have mentioned how much it helped. And on days like today, like some of the harder days in life, what does football really mean to you?
Football really means to me, especially, and I feel like I can speak for some of the other guys, in times where we're troubled, it's an escape. Many of us come from not too great backgrounds, whether that's being poor, having issues going on at home. And when you get on that field and you can just play and have fun, make it nothing more than just a game, it's exciting, that you don't have to think about, what's going on at home or what do I have to go do next? You just know you get to come here, hang out with some friends, and play the game that you've been playing since you were little.
It's up to Kalen. Everybody grieves their own way, certainly, and there are, I guess, different lessons you learn along the way from that, and this is very raw, and this just happened. But have there been any perspectives that you've gained over the last 24 hours or things that you see in a different light because of this?
Honestly, for me, it's focusing on the now. And I know I talk about it a lot when I have conversations with people. In the Bible it says, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has problems of its own. But I really didn't understand that until yesterday, like how important the now is. Tomorrow's not promised, and you can't go back in time and change the past. So from there, my perspective has changed a lot just as a man, making decisions. It's like, hey, I want to be the best person I can be in the moment. I'll worry about the rest later.